How's everybody doing?
Hold on, a little secret. We can't see any of you. Yes!
Sasan, thanks for coming. We have a brief 20 minutes together here. I know you share just a lot of love for this audience, the people out here, particularly their passion for serving small businesses. And I know you're passionate about serving small businesses. Where does that come from? Where does that passion come from?
So I love the question. I came to the U.S. At the age of 9, and I have 2 older brothers, 12 and 13 years older than I. My parents used to always say, "You're special," and I was an accident. So they were already in the U.S. Studying, and my family decided to do a little experiment with me and ship me to the U.S. at the age of 9. And when we came to the U.S., my father passed away about 6 months after I left, and we had no money. And my older brother happened to get his engineering degree, but this was at a time that it was just very hard to find a job. And so he started a business, and it was purely to put food on the table. It was purely for survival, and it was importing food from Europe, from Middle East, and in essence selling it to wholesalers in the U.S. And I remember vividly sitting in a little apartment we were in. There was 4 of us, my mom and 3 boys. And, my brother would talk about whether or not we could pay the rent, whether or not we could put food on the table. And I learned sort of firsthand what it was like for him to get a customer, the fear sometimes he had to even invoice customers because he didn't want to lose them, getting paid late. And Kathy, our accountant, is who saved, I would say, us, but saved the business because he had an engineering degree, and math was something he was good at. Running a business was not what he was good at, other than getting customers. But how do you manage your cash flow? And so our accountant saved our life, not just his business, because she helped with when to hire an employee, how much inventory that he should buy or shouldn't buy, and our success. And I say ours because I wouldn't have been able to go to school. I don't know where we would have ended up if it wasn't for Kathy. And so I learned from the age of 9 till about when I was 16 or 17, living at home. 1, how hard it is to have a business, and 2, the role of the right advisor that can help you make choices. And this is years ago, right?
Yeah.
Everything I have is publicly available, so I'm 56 years old, and so this was many, many years ago. But that human connection, mattered a lot. By the way, he's now built, a huge business.
Yeah.
And he loves the business. And every time I want to know what's really going on in the world besides talking to our customers and talking to you, I call him, and he tells me what his top complaints are. But you all hold a very special place in my heart, both how hard it is to have a business and really the role that all of you play. Our mission is very special to me.
Well, it's personal, right? It's personal. If you think back to the Wayback Machine, to your brother getting started, and you think of the last 6 years you've had as our CEO, and you look through the rearview mirror around the key trends, but also with an eye towards the windshield, right? The things that you see happening in the future. If you put all that together, how would you kind of wrap it for us in a bow in terms of the thoughts you have about the future and trends for impacting small businesses?
We talk about this a lot internally, I believe that we are living in the most extraordinary times that we will ever experience. And I was on the record 6 years ago to say that I believe that the times that we live in will rival the global innovation that electricity and the internet ignited. And I remember when I used to say this 6 years ago, people used to laugh at me. And now we're all talking about it. And I say that more in the context of, I believe that we will experience things that are extraordinary in the years to come. Now, what's important, though, is you have to believe it to see it. How many of you in the room have a smartphone? Raise your hands. By the way, I can see some hands, by the way. But
They're all up.
they're all. So I want you just to imagine for a moment what it would be like if I took your smartphone away from you. Just think about that for a moment and really think about what would happen if you didn't have a smartphone. By the way, you may have a little bit less stress because you'll know a little bit less about what's happening every moment of the day. I can hear somebody in the front yelling, "Here, take mine away." But you would have to, we collectively would have to rewire ourselves in terms of, what's the first thing that probably gets you up in the morning? What's the first thing that you look at? You're managing your life, right, on your phone. Your work life, your personal life, everything is on your phone. And if I took AI away from you tomorrow, you'd be like, probably wouldn't even notice it yet. Some of you, depending on how much you're using tools and experimenting with tools, may experience a lot of impact, but many of you would not. And I start with that context because I believe the world that we live in will completely change in ways that we can never imagine possible. None of us know what the adoption curve will be. So in the next couple of years, more than $1 trillion will get invested in AI, and it's only accelerating. Right now, that investment is going into machines that companies like AMD and NVIDIA and others, Marvel, are using to create all their AI capabilities in their AI platform. There's a lot of investment at the next layer up. So there's the machines, there is the infrastructure, and then there's the cloud. Companies like Google, Microsoft, Amazon, and a lot of large language model players, open source, Anthropic, Llama, that are investing a lot to create this amazing future that we will experience. And then the last stop is what you all experience. It's the platform companies that are building, in essence, applications, and that's us. And so therefore, today you may not feel it as much, but I mean, we're spending billions on data and AI at Intuit to create a very different world with you and for you. So that's the second thing that I would say is that you may not feel it yet today, but these will be the most revolutionary times that we will ever live in. And I'll just end with saying that everything will come with an assistant. And that assistant will either do it for you or with you. But when I ask this question, I think in a couple of years of what if I took AI away from you, your AI assistant in your life, whatever it may be, you would say there's no way I can't live without it. It will know the food, the ingredients that you like and how to stock your refrigerator, there will be small language models in your doorknob, and when you're approaching it, it'll open for you. Every device will know everything that you allow it to know about you. And from your blood work that will be done for you without having to go through all the extravaganza we go through today. Drugs and diseases will accelerate in terms of how things like cancer are cured. By the way, today, airplanes can be flown without a pilot. and they have been tested to have higher accuracy and better safety than with pilots today. The only problem is, would you get in a plane without a pilot? So I'm using these examples to share with you that you will have an assistant in every part of your life. And today we are working on AI agents and AI assistants with human experts in the middle of it that can actually take over your computer and do everything for you and with you that you give it access to. So that's the last thing I would end with, which is we're living in the most extraordinary times, and I'm excited about what is possible in all of our collective life, not just what we're here to talk about the next couple of days. It's going to be extraordinary.
Yeah. Well, you can't stop there. You got to tell us what Intuit's
No, I got to get on
it.
a plane without a pilot to go back home.
What is Intuit doing about AI?
So let me talk about maybe very briefly the who, the what, and the why. Mm-hmm. So we are focused on consumers, small businesses, and now mid-sized, mid-market companies. We are significantly have been accelerating the last couple of years in serving much larger businesses. Some of the things that hopefully you're going to experience tomorrow and the next day has been in the works for several years. We view our accountant partners as businesses, and we view as a very important partner that we have to build tools for to ensure that you can grow your business, and hopefully over time, our AI capabilities are doing a lot of the work for you with you always in control. And so in terms of where we are headed, it is fundamentally about serving that who. Consumers, small businesses, mid-market companies, and we view all of you in the room as businesses and very important accountant partners. So that's the who. Mm-hmm. The essence of everything that we are doing is what we've coined internally as an AI-driven expert platform. Really, the essence of what that means is we are focused on done-for-you experiences with a gateway to AI-powered human experts. So for us, the AI-driven expert platform, the expert is you. And it's about AI enabling, in essence, done-for-you experiences with you always in control, with businesses always in control. But what that means, and all the investments that we are making, are really about marketing is done for you. From quoting to cash in your pocket and in your business bank account is done for you. Taxes, accounting, books are done for you. Payroll is done for you. And I believe, in our lifetime, humans are going to be a very important part of the equation, which is why we believe in AI and AI-powered human experts, because we believe that there should never be a dead end. But we're focused on creating done-for-you experiences, and our billions that we've spent are on data, on infrastructure, on AI to create these done-for-you experiences. So that's sort of the what. The why is we're very focused on really one thing, which is your growth. Is how do we help you with growing your top line, your customers, profitable customers, your revenue growth, and cash flow. That is ultimately what we are entirely focused on. And I'll just end with saying that our goal is to be your AI operating system to fuel your success so you can play a far bigger advisory role as you serve businesses. I also know there's businesses in this room that what they care about is growth. How do I better serve my customers? How do I grow my customers? How do I serve the right profitable customers? Some have aspirations to go public. We want to meet you and meet those aspirations with you. And we believe that data and AI is critical to our future. We also believe AI-powered human experts are a critical part of that future.
And how might we partner with the accountant community different to serve customers in the future?
Well, I'll share three things. First of all, it was wonderful to have several sessions just today with some of you in the room, and I'm looking forward to many individual sessions also tomorrow, just to learn from you. But I would say a couple of things. One is I hope you walked away sort of blown away tomorrow and the next day with what you're going to see. What we have worked on, what we're shipping, what's going to be available. We've spent a lot of time listening to our businesses, to listening to you, and how we jointly serve businesses to help them thrive. And I hope you're going to see all that, tomorrow and the next day. And we'll learn a lot from you in terms of what your perspective is, what's resonating, and how we can pivot and also ensure that we move with higher velocity. So that, I would say, that's the first thing. I would say that the second thing is, our ultimate vision is to have a workplace for our accountant partners, where a lot of what I mentioned earlier, marketing capabilities, the capabilities that are in essence done for you, capabilities from quote to cash, capabilities from accounting to payroll to taxes to bookkeeping, done with you and for you. Really, you're going to see investments that we've made in providing capabilities so you can play a far bigger advisory role. All of that sits on all of our data and AI investments that we've made. So really a workplace where in one place you can manage everything for your business, your firm, and manage the businesses that you serve. And ultimately, what we're going to be able to do with AI is almost imagine a glass ceiling that has the ability to transverse across our platform and any other apps that you use, any other third-party apps, to really pull in the reporting, the KPIs, and to be able to manage your own workforce, scheduling, appointments, the experts, your capacity planning. So that's what we have been creating, building. You're going to see a lot of it, and also where we are headed. I would just end with maybe the last thing that I would say is the most important, which is, we are in the people business, and we've talked a lot about, as a leadership team, about how we up our game with all of you in terms of the relationships that we build. And you're going to feel and sense a very different Intuit in these next couple of days, but also it's about our say-do, what we do leaving this place. But also, in relationships, sometimes you screw up. And I want to acknowledge when, as we're looking to transform the world with you and for you, that there are going to be times that we may do things where you may question our intention. And well, I don't get this kind of a response in the state of the company that I do. But so let's talk about that. And this is actually really important, and it's a really important point to sort of leave on, because we ran and took off air very quickly a tax campaign. And this is just important in terms of intentions and our relationship. And listen, when we make a mistake, we're going to own up to it. And this is my mistake, by the way, not my team's. I own it. Anything good that happens, it's my team. Anything not so good that happens, I own it. And but the context is really important, and what we've learned, and more importantly, the takeaway that I want to share is probably most important. We serve 100 million consumers, and we hear a lot from the low-income consumers that we serve that, hey, I want a better tax experience, and I want it at a low price. I feel like I'm paying too much. And our goal, by the way, is that we have created a virtual expert platform where we can enable customers to get their taxes done from anywhere in the world. And by the way, we have 12,000 experts, our partners, that have their side business that are on the platform serving customers. Experts is the key equation to all of this. But we made a mistake in terms of our how, because the campaign that we ran came across as it's about the expert versus we're actually trying to create and communicate a very different experience, because we're actually, we're creating hundreds of millions of dollars of income for experts that are on our platform. And the very experts, by the way, some may be in the room, many are not in the room, because Many of you have different focus areas. I share that context just so you know that we have good intentions. Sometimes we make mistakes. I will own up to the mistakes that we make, and we'll get it right. Because the goal is we want to help consumers, small businesses, mid-market businesses, you are many of them, and our accounting partners to thrive. That's our focus. And back to where I started, which is the relationship. My entire team is here because, and you can expect us to be here with you every step of the way, every day of the year, but also at every Intuit Connect, because we are really upping our game in terms of the relationship. Because everything that we're trying to do with AI is to create a prosperous future for all of us, but the relationship matters. The intent matters. The trust matters. And when we screw up, we'll own it. And for what we did that we took off air, I apologize. I own that. Our focus is still serving consumers with you, better experience, the best price, but we learn from it. And thank you for your feedback, because I've spoken to some of you. I've replied to many emails, and I just want you to know sometimes, although it may not feel like it, I'm on your side. We're on your side.
Do you have,
Can I go now?
you know what? I see zeros, but I feel compelled
Hey,
to ask.
listen, time has never gotten in my way of talking.
Yeah. I feel compelled to ask one more question. In this room, we have leaders of businesses. We have all kind of talent in the room. And what advice would you have for them as they navigate the next, 12, 18 months? What kind of advice would you have for them as leaders?
Leadership does not come with instructions. And many of us together are navigating the most, I think, extraordinary times. And extraordinary times like this don't come with instructions. And I can maybe share with you a couple of things that I try to practice every day, and hope in some way it can help all of us as we navigate through these amazing times together. The first one is treat every day like day one. Think about the first time you entered a new job. You're curious, you're asking a lot of questions, you're eager to make an impact, you're eager to make the right impact. But it's truly day one. And as leaders, we have to fall in love with problems we're trying to solve and not fall in love with the solutions that we've declared. And it's probably the hardest thing to do, but the most important thing that all of us can do in leadership roles is treat every day like day one. Be curious. Ask questions. Listen. Learn. Adjust. Pivot. So that's, I would say, one advice that I try to practice every day. I would say the second is mindset. Our minds are the most powerful thing in the world. And, mindset shapes behaviors, behaviors shape actions, and actions shape outcomes. And always think about your mindset, your own attitude. So I think about my mindset, my own attitude, and that of my team. Because there are a couple of types of folks in the world, right? Ones that need to see it before they believe it. Our job as leaders is to believe it, and we will see it. That's an example of the power of mindset. And so that's the second piece of advice. And by the way, the one person that more than anyone checks my mindset is Shireen, my wife. When she sees that my mind is not the right place, the first thing she goes after is where my head is at. The last thing, are we still at zero or are we getting more time?
No, we're
at zero.
It's your clock, you own it.
Three zeros.
We can stay here all day, Sasan.
Hey, listen, I'm used to zeros. These were my grades in high school before I got kicked out. That's a story for a different time. If you have kids and you're worried about them, just give me a call. In 5 minutes, you'll be like, thank God he wasn't my kid. Hey, the last thing is lean into the future. Don't fear the future. The future always wins. So those would be my 3 pieces of advice.
Wow, that was profound. All right, I'm not going to stretch a double since we're doing the World Series. So I'm not going to ask another question. Hey, thanks for dropping those pearls of wisdom, and really appreciate you taking the time and just sharing your thoughts.
Well, and maybe let me just end with a couple of things. One is, electricity was not invented from continuous improvement of the candle. I just made that up. Did that land? But it's very relevant to why we're partnering every day together and why we're here the next couple of days. It's about how do we create the future together, and it won't just get there through continuous improvement. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your partnership. Thank you for forgiving us when we make mistakes. Thank you you have a choice of where you can be, and we appreciate you being here because together we're going to change the world together. And see you all the rest of today, tomorrow, and Wednesday.
All right.
Thank you, everybody.